I never thought I'd find myself in this position, standing in front of our neighbors, holding papers that would change everything. But when she told me it was okay for her to sleep with someone else, I realized there was no turning back. My wife, Lauren, had always been ambitious, charming, and confident. The kind of woman who could light up a room just by walking in. When we first met, I was captivated not just by her beauty, but by the fire in her eyes, the way she challenged me and made me feel alive. We married young, both in our mid-20s, believing we were building a life together. I worked long hours, managing a construction project, spending nights poring over plans and budgets. Lauren, on the other hand, ran her boutique consultancy. We were partners in our own way, supporting each other silently, trusting each other deeply, or so I thought. The cracks appeared subtly at first. She would cancel dinners, miss appointments, or disappear for hours without telling me. At first, I excused it. Work stress, client emergencies. I tried to be patient, giving her the benefit of the doubt. But over time, I noticed a shift. In her eyes, a flicker of guilt or mischief I couldn't ignore. The woman I had trusted with everything seemed distant, emotionally unavailable even, secretive. Then came the day that shattered my world. Lauren sat me down at the kitchen table, her hands twisting, the napkin in front of her. "I've been thinking," she said, "and I think we should open our marriage." I blinked, trying to process what I was hearing. My heart sank, but I kept my voice steady. "What do you mean exactly?" I asked. She looked me straight in the eye, calm and unnervingly confident. "I mean, I want to see other people. It's just, I think it will be healthy for us." Healthy? That word cut deeper than any insult. My mind raced, trying to understand how the woman I loved, the one I trusted above, all else could even suggest such a thing. And then she dropped the name of the first person, a client she had been meeting regularly, someone I had unknowingly welcomed into our lives, someone she had laughed and joked with, while hiding the truth from me. I didn't yell, I didn't beg, I didn't plead. I just nodded, feeling the cold clarity of betrayal settle over me. I realized in that instant that the person sitting across from me, the woman I had built my life with, was no longer my partner. And that understanding lit a fire inside me. A fire for justice, for closure, for the truth to be seen. For days, I replayed her words in my mind. Each syllable a blade cutting through the trust we had built. Lauren went about her routine as if nothing had changed, smiling at me, over breakfast, casually discussing errands and clients. But I knew the truth. I could see it in the subtle glances she cast at her phone, the way she stiffened whenever I entered the room unexpectedly. The house we had, shared once warm and familiar, now felt like a stage, and I was watching a play I hadn't auditioned for. I tried talking to her gently at first. "Lauren, are you serious about this client? About this arrangement?" I asked, my voice steady but firm. She laughed lightly, a sound that had once comforted me, now laced with a mocking edge. Yes, Daniel, I think it's good for us. You'll understand. Eventually. That was it. No hesitation, no remorse. Just a casual declaration that shattered everything I had. Believed. I realized I couldn't reason. With her, words meant nothing when actions had already crossed boundaries I considered sacred. I had always been calm, measured, a man who believed in solutions, not impulsive anger. But this demanded action. I spent nights planning, weighing options, thinking about how to reclaim not just my dignity, but the respect our marriage deserved. The thought of her smiling, lying, hiding, all while pretending our life was intact, became unbearable. Then, the moment arrived. Lauren had invited this client over under the pretext of a work discussion. I watched her from the doorway as he laughed at her jokes, the kind of laughter I had once earned, but was now replaced with someone else's. My chest tightened, my hands clenched, but I stayed composed. I didn't interrupt. I didn't confront. I merely observed. And then I made a decision. If she could treat our marriage like a negotiation, I would treat the truth like a stage, visible to everyone who needed to see it. The next morning, I printed the divorce papers, not quietly, not secretly. I walked to the local coffee shop, to the park where neighbors gathered, to the place where our lives intersected with the community who had known us as a happy couple. I unfolded the papers and held them high, letting everyone see what she had done, letting the world bear witness. I wasn't just ending a marriage. I was exposing some betrayal that had been hidden behind polite smiles and empty reassurances. Lauren's expression when she arrived, expecting secrecy, was priceless. Shock, disbelief, anger, all in a single moment. And as I handed her the papers, I didn't speak. My silence was louder than any accusation. The weight of betrayal, the clarity of justice, and the calm certainty of my own resolve filled the space between us. Lauren stood, frozen, the divorce papers trembling in her hands. Her lips moved, forming words. I didn't hear, perhaps excuses, perhaps indignation, perhaps pleas. But I remained silent, letting her realize on her own the depth of what she had done. The neighbors watched, whispers spreading like wildfire, their eyes wide with disbelief. For years, our life had seemed perfect from the outside. That image shattered in seconds, and I watched the truth settle like dust over the fragments of our marriage. As she stepped back, her usual confidence faltering, I felt a strange sense of calm wash over me. There was no gloating, no triumphalism. I wasn't here to humiliate her. I was here to reclaim myself, to assert that my trust, my dignity, and my life were not negotiable. The betrayal had been hers to commit. The response was mine to choose, and I had chosen clarity, decisiveness, and freedom. Later that evening, after the neighbors had gone, and the quiet returned, I sat alone in the living room. The house felt emptier than it ever had. But in that emptiness, there was also relief. I could breathe, again without the weight of lies, pressing down every memory, every shared joke, every tender moment felt. Bittersweet, but they no longer held me hostage. I had accepted the truth. Some relationships, no matter how deep the love, cannot survive deceit that corrodes the foundation of trust. I thought of the client she had been seeing, of the casual way she had justified her actions, of the conversation she thought she had hidden. It didn't matter anymore. Exposure had done its work. Lauren would have to live with the consequences of her choices, the embarrassment, the anger, and perhaps a flicker of regret. And I, for the first time in months, felt a spark of liberation. That night, I walked to the balcony, letting the cool breeze wash over me. The city lights flickered. Below each window, a story, a life. Moving on, and I realized that betrayal, while painful, had also given me clarity. I no longer feared the lies, the secrecy, or the games. I had seen them, confronted them, and emerged intact. I had lost a wife, yes, but I had reclaimed myself. And in that reclamation, I discovered something even more precious: the certainty that my worth would never again be compromised by someone else's choices. Sometimes the most painful endings carry the most profound beginnings. And as I turned away from the balcony, I knew this was just the start of my own life, honest, unburdened, and finally mine.